Hey bookworms, we are going to do our mini museum. I've already pre-done a lot of it because I do mine the same every time. I love that you guys get creative and do yours differently. But I've already added my gold and I've decoupaged my illustration and I've decoupaged this. Typically I do hot glue with this in the illustration, but I think I like the decoupage better actually. What I was going to say, so Wythe, we have had him on another one of our books. He was a huge illustrator during this time period for American books, I believe. Yes, American artist. Oh, well, not American books. Should say American artist because this one is not an American story. The other was, though, and the other one that we did was Last of the Mohicans. He did an illustration for them for that story. So that one was actually our first week mini museum that we did, which was the Native American right there. You can see, so that was Wythe, and that's him there. So we've made full circle back to a very popular, he did so many actually if you look him up. So anyway, I've already put all that on. I'm going to set that to the side and let that dry. And then I've got my little pirate boat here, or, well, schooner, whatever we want to call it. And I am going to just take some white paint and put it directly on here. This is just acrylic. Put that on there like that. I'm going to give it one good white coat base, and then I'm not going to put a whole lot of detail just because it's small. But I want it to pop like a boat here. So, all right, I got my paper towel there. And get my paintbrush sort of rinsed out, and then I am just going to coat all of it with a good coat of white. And I love the gray peeking through. It creates like a natural aged look like right away, especially for the sails. So I'll probably only do the one coat on the sails because that's sort of what I want it to look like. Try to get so I've got a long bristled brush so I can get down in the cracks of the boat there. So that's what I'm going to try to do first. I really want to get down in there and then pull that color up. I'm going to get paint all over me. And then I'll probably hit this with my heat gun a little, so I have to be very careful with this print specifically because it is 3D printed, so the heat will affect it a little. So I've got to be careful, especially with these little tiny strings that it can. So I actually, when I clean these up, I usually hit them with some heat to get some of the little stringies off, and ruined a couple of these last time when I was just trying to clean them up before I sent them to you guys. So I'm going to have to be really careful for this. And I'm going to turn it on low. I just want to give it like a quick dry. Hopefully it doesn't get too soft on me. I'm going to do high and just pull it back. By keeping my finger there, I can tell how hot it's getting, so hopefully. Alright, that is pretty good. Dry enough to move on anyway, or put another layer on. I'm going to put a little more white. I want to go a little more on the sails, so let's just squeeze some directly on there. The rest of the boat, I'm just going to leave that as like my primed color underneath. So I'm not too worried about that being redone, but I do want the sails to be a little whiter. I like the gray coming through a little because I feel like it makes it look a little aged and weathered, but I don't want too much gray. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. All right, I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun again, and then I'm gonna grab some brown and just put some brown on the boat part. And then if I can get my paint out, I've got some brown here, some dark brown, and I'm gonna grab one of my smaller brushes. And this thicker paint does such a good job with the minis and smoothing them out. So probably not gonna go on the inside of the boat because I'm not sure I can get a clean enough look to it. So I'm just gonna keep the brown on the outside. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see after I get this part done if I've got it in me to do the inside. I'm not a miniature paint artist, so even though I love them, obviously, I'm very basic with this. Some of those artists that do those miniatures, especially for those role-playing games, oh my gosh, it's amazing what they can do on such tiny scale. I don't know that I have the patience for that. I'm not a very patient artist, I guess. That's why I like all the mini paintings. I want to create, but I don't want it to take me forever. It's terrible, isn't it? That's the benefit of the little mini paintings and stuff, though, is there's not this huge commitment. So, all right, that looks pretty cool. All right, let me hit that again. So a little too much paint right here. Let me thin that out. Stick my brushes in the paint or in the water so they don't dry out. I'm gonna leave that like that. I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can see a little bit better. So you can see how I'm letting the white and everything in the gray peek through. I'm using that as part of the detail. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to use my teeny tiny brush, get some paint on it, and I am going to attempt to do the masts. So let's see if I can do this. Now, if you have trouble seeing it or anything like that, don't worry. Don't worry about doing this. But I just wanted to see, so I'm just barely, I don't know if you guys can see. I'm not going to go around the whole mast. I'm just going to barely brush the back of it. Just to make those pop a little bit is what I'm hoping. My hand is actually shaking. So I'm just trying to get the masts at the top of the boat, sails, and down the center of the boats. And it does not have to be perfect. And then I'm going to hit the ropes a little bit. Just a little bit though. I'm not like trying to coat them. I'm just trying to make them stand out. And then I'm going to hit the sides so you can see not heavy paint, just sort of like dry brush. And I'm getting white on my boat because my hands so white on them. Okay. Pretty happy with that though. Let me see if I can wipe some of this off. I don't want to keep transferring it. It's just because it's not completely dry, so everything's slightly tacky still. And then I missed some of the, there we go. All right, I am pretty happy with that very minimal detail. Let me pull it up so you guys can see it. All right, so you can see very minimal detail, and it's sort of spotty, but it's so tiny, and I want it to look aged, right? So this is what I'm going through it with, and you can see, oops, sorry, the white sort of coming through on the boat, but I feel like it gives it like plank looks. Same thing with the sails. And then I just barely touched the mast and the ropes. Okay, and I think that is, I'm pretty happy with that. So then my little boat, I'm gonna hot glue it in. I have not done that yet, but it's just gonna sit right in there like that. Look how cool that looks. I'm gonna pull it out to the front a little further so that it gives some depth with the illustration. But that, and I'll probably make it peek out like it's sort of sailing out of the display there. But yeah, that's it. I love it. All right, and I will look forward to seeing your guys's. I love seeing the variations that everyone creates, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.